Hello again, my name's Gabe Zala. Well, this is interesting. I received a email, and it's apparently a copy of an email that the chosen one, Barack Hussein Obama, had sent to his cohort, which I think is his partner in crime. And I think history will prove that to be true. The individual that I'm referring to used to be the Prime Minister of Turkey, and I believe now he's the President. Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Now, what's interesting about, well, there's a lot of things that are interesting, but one of the points I'd like you to be aware of is that similar to what Mohammed Morsi did when he tried to bring Sharia law to Egypt, Recep Tayyip Erdogan tried doing the same when he was Prime Minister. And he was clever enough to back off when he realized that Turkish people weren't quite ready yet for Sharia law, unlike Morsi. I believe if Recep would have pushed that issue, he'd probably have suffered the same fate as Mohammed Morsi, who happens to be languishing in prison at the present time, on trial for his life, by the way. In either case, this isn't about Mohammed Morsi, this is about the chosen one. Now, what's interesting is the date of this letter, or email. It was sent by Obama's BlackBerry. Anyway, it's dated September the 14th, Washington, D.C. Dear Tayyip, they do like each other. I understand you are traveling between the Ukraine and Bosnia-Herzegovina, and it's just after midnight in Washington. I'm writing to you because given what has happened in the last 2 days, there's a very real danger that there could be an escalation of violence on Friday that would be very damaging to our shared interests. I wonder what those shared interests might be. You think Sharia law might be their shared interest? Anyway, it goes on to say, I am sure you are familiar with the video that has offended so many people around the world. Let me be clear that the U.S. government had nothing to do with it. We reject its message, which entirely contradicts my personal views and the values that Americans stand for. As you know, we respect Islam, and we are opposed to efforts to offend Islam by defaming the Prophet Muhammad. But we cannot block this video. It is not possible in this age of technology, and we are bound by our commitment to free expression. Nevertheless, our embassies across the Middle East are at risk, and we are deeply concerned that after Friday prayers, our people and installations in the region could be vulnerable to attack. We must not let extremists use this video as a pretext to attack America or our other allies and partners. I believe you are one of the most credible voices in the Islamic world today. And if people hear from you calling for calm and condemning violence, it will have a real impact. I would ask that you speak out immediately and forcefully before people go to Friday prayers today. It will be important to emphasize that diplomatic personnel and facilities must be respected, and the way to defend religion is through peace rather than violence. As people of faith, we have an obligation to prevent the people who created this video from provoking a cycle of violence that violates the values that undergird our faith. I thank you, my friend, and I look forward to talking again in a few days' time when you are home. Sincerely, Barack. What do you think of that? I'm going to attach a link that pretty much goes over what I just read to you. Now, what's interesting, again, well, there's a number of points in this that are interesting, especially where he talks about damaging to our shared interests. Now, you have to know that Turkey is the point that Benghazi focused their weapons shipment to. And through Turkey, those weapons found their way to Syria to support, the rebel freedom fighters, the ones that the lame-brained Senator Johnny McCain wants to support. Yeah, the ones that turned into ISIL, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the Mujahideen, the Taliban, the ones that are chopping heads off left, right, and center. Read the attached link and ask yourself a question. Are these two in combination with each other? Do they have your best interests? Or do they have their own best interests, which is to further the advancement of Sharia law in both countries? I told you what I think. I told you what the Chosen One thought on September the 14th, 2012. Read up on Recep Tayyip Erdogan. You'll see he's a chip off the old block. Whose block? King Abdullah. The return of the Ottoman Empire. The Caliphate. I told you what I think. So now that you know what Obama wrote to Erdogan on September the 14th, 2012, what do you think?